Well, welcome back to another Premier League predictions video, and in this one I'm still ill, so it's going to be very similar to the one we did last week. But yeah, let's jump into it. So we're going to start off with the Saturday fixtures and Newcastle United versus Wolves. Now there is no early kickoff this week, but we will start by taking a look at Newcastle United as they host Wolverhampton Wanderers at St James's Park. Newcastle are coming off the back of a loss as their form continues to fluctuate. This has seen their form fall to 2 draws and 2 wins from their last 5, and has also seen the Geordies slip to 10th place, making a challenge for Europe very unlikely at the moment. Wolves have been enjoying a much better run of form recently, as they come off the back of a win over strugglers Sheffield United. This takes their form to 3 wins from their last 5, and moves them into the top half of the league. Wolves will be looking to build on their recent results and climb further up the table, but St James's Park is no easy place to go. Despite that though, I'm going to say 2-1 to Wolves. I can see Wolves grabbing a result up north. Newcastle's injury woes have begun to alleviate themselves recently as more players began to return to the fold. Performances though have not always improved as expected. Wolves are only really missing Cunha. However, this is a big loss for the West Midlanders as he's been a very huge part of their attacking force this season. Newcastle have been more prolific in front of net this season, scoring 54 goals to Wolves' 40, but Newcastle have also conceded 5 more goals than their opponents as well. I do see it being a very tough game for both sides. St James's Park is not an easy place to go, but I do think Wolves has what it takes to overcome their opponents and claim all 3 points up north. And then we move on to Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. It's a cross-London clash as Crystal Palace travel to N17 to face Tottenham Hotspur. The North London outfit come with the back of a loss as they fell to Wolves the week prior, which takes their form to 2 wins and 2 draws from their last 5. Not a brilliant run of form, but it does keep them in the race for the top 4, even if they are 5 points off 4th place Villa, but they can make up that ground if Villa drop points. Crystal Palace on the other hand come off the back of a win, with Glasner's tenure coming off to a great start, which takes the Eagles' form to 2 wins and a draw from their last 5. Spurs will looking to make a return to winning ways and maintain their challenge on the top 4, whilst Palace looking to maintain that new manager bounce, get some much needed points on the board and avoid slipping into a relegation battle. I'm going to say 2-0 to Tottenham though. I see Spurs keeping the 3 points in North London. Crystal Palace have been swamped by injuries for what seems like most of the season, and this week is no different. Glasner has not had the privilege of utilising some of his best players, with Eze and Elise both set to still be out through injury. Spurs do have their fair share of injuries too, but they're not as important to the side as Eze and Elise are to Palace. Spurs have played some brilliant attacking football under Ange, scoring 52 goals this season compared to Palace's 31. So I can see Spurs keeping their brilliant attacking football and really punishing Palace. Spurs also have the added bonus of having an extra week off due to their clash against Chelsea being postponed, so they're going to be fresher. And you know what, I'm backing Spurs here. There are a few injury concerns with the likes of Richarlison, but I think even despite his absence, Spurs should be able to beat Palace fairly comfortably. I'm back in the North London side here. And then we move on to Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. Nottingham Forest hosts the Carabao Cup champions at the City Ground as they look to maintain their position at the top of the league. Liverpool that is, not Forest. Nottingham Forest are coming with the back of a loss to Villa, which has taken their form to just 1 win and a draw from their last 5. The Reds find themselves 4 points above the relegation zone as Everton's point deduction was reduced from 10 to 6 points. So desperately in need of any points they can get their hands on to ensure another season of Premier League survival, especially with the possible points deduction looming over them as well. Liverpool are coming off the back of a win as they dominated Luton Town at Anfield, as well as beating Chelsea in extra time to win their 10th League Cup. The Klopp quad is still on. Disregarding the Cup though, this does take Liverpool's league form to 4 wins and a draw from their last 5, and sees them retain their spot at the top of the league, but only by a point. I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. I see the points being shared in East Midlands. Liverpool have been swamped by injuries at the moment, and as such have been playing a lot of their youth players. And in spite of that, Liverpool have been playing well and grabbing important results in these games. I mean, their academy players are quite good. Let's be real, they are good players, and that was seen as they won the Carabao Cup, and I'm sure they'll put up a good fight in the league as well. However, I do think that Forest can take advantage of the massive list of absentees that Liverpool have. However, I don't see him being able to completely overcome the side. We've seen what Liverpool's academy players can do, and with any of the senior players sprinkled in, it's going to be a very tough clash for Forest. I'm sure we'll see goals from both sides. You know, they're very consistent in their goal scoring, and I reckon that will continue in East Midlands. I'm sure we'll see both teams scoring some goals. Ultimately though, I do see the points being shared at the City Ground. However, Forest have a little gift, as Mo Salah will be out for this clash. So that's one of the big players they don't have to worry about, but even the academy is good, so it's going to be very tough in the East Midlands, and I see the points being shared, to be fair. I'd accept that result, to be honest. Like, yes, Liverpool are without a lot of their big hitters, but their academy players are good, and we've seen they're good, so it's not going to be easy, but I can see the points being shared. And then move on to Brentford versus Chelsea. It's a West London derby as Brentford host the blue £1 billion bottle jobs at the aptly named Brentford Community Stadium. Brentford are coming back of their third successive loss as they failed to overcome West Ham in East London. This takes their form to 1 win from their last 5. Not great. Chelsea have been experiencing some better form though, as they're coming back of a draw to City, and obviously that loss in the Carabao Cup final, hence their brilliant new nickname. That draw takes their form to 1 draw and 2 wins from their last 5. Neither team have been enjoying a good season, with Brentford in some real danger of being pulled into a relegation dogfight, whereas Chelsea just can't seem to break into the top half of the league, no matter what result they get. I'm going to say 2-1 to Chelsea. I do see Chelsea taking all 3 points in this West London derby. The Blues have been very inconsistent this season, but Brentford have just been worse. It looks like the 9th place curse may be striking again. Both teams also suffer from a lot of injuries. Brentford are without a lot of their first choice players. I think their first choice back 4 is just out, like they're all absent, so it's nothing great for Brentford there, is it? And Chelsea are just suffering from a lot of injuries like they have been for the entirety of the season, to be honest. In spite of those injuries, I think Chelsea do have the better side overall, and I am backing them to take all 3 points back to their side of West London. Brentford will make things difficult for Chelsea, there's no doubt about that, but I just don't see them having enough to overcome the Blues. They'll probably still finish in 11th though, let's be real. This is Chelsea we're talking about here. But Brentford, they're in trouble of getting pulled into a relegation scrap. I mean, they are what, like 6 points, 5 points from safety, so they are 5 points safe, so they've got that cushion, but if teams around them start picking up points, it's not looking good. I don't think they'll get relegated though, like the 3 teams in the relegation zone are pretty much nailed on at this point, I feel. And then we move on to Everton versus West Ham United. Everton host West Ham as look to build on the 4 points they gained after their points deduction was successfully appealed. That has come as a big boon for Everton as their form has taken a dip recently, with the Toffees actually coming off a draw against 10-man Brighton. This takes their form to 4 draws from their last 5, with those 4 extra points seeing them sit 5 points above the relegation zone. West Ham have not been enjoying a great run of things recently though, but are coming back with a win as they dominated Brentford in East London. This takes their form to 1 win and a draw from their last 5. Huge win for the Hammers as they were slipping down the league, and it should have filled them with confidence coming into this match. I'm going to say 1-0 to Everton. This is a tough one to call given the recent form of both teams, however I am backing Everton to claim all 3 points as they look to further secure their survival aims. I do see Goodison being the deciding factor, with Everton not being a very prolific side in front of net. The Toffees are one of the lowest scoring sides this season, only scoring 28 goals this season. Not looking great. But they are pretty good at the back though, only conceding 34 goals, which is actually the 4th lowest in the league, and for a team around the relegation zone, that is fairly solid, I think. There's some going for a team in 15th. West Ham have been very inconsistent lately, with much of their attacking talent missing the mark, but luckily for West Ham, some of their important players have returned to the fold, and that was seen in their very emphatic win over Brentford. Everton will make it difficult for the Hammers, there's no doubt about that, and I can see it being a slog, but I do see Everton claiming those 3 points, and a very important 3 points they will be for the Toffees. And then we move on to Fulham versus Brighton. Fulham host Brighton at Craven Cottage as it starts a run of winning ways. Cottagers come with the back of a win as they beat Manchester United at Old Trafford in very convincing fashion. It was a massive win for Fulham that takes their form to 2 wins and 2 draws from their last 5. Brighton come with the back of a draw to Everton as they went down to 10 men. Not great, but to get a draw when you're down to 10 men, you can't really complain. This takes their form to 2 wins and a draw from their last 5. It keeps them around the top half of the table, with Fulham actually assisting the hopes of a top 6 finish, with Brighton just 5 points off current 6th place United. I'm going to say 2-1 to Fulham. I can see the points staying in the capital. Fulham are a very interesting side at the moment, but they do look like they can get results when needed and surprise quite a few teams. Whilst they are without their main striker in Jimenez, they have shown that they can score goals without him, and I can't see them having much issues breaking down this Brighton side. I'm thinking Fulham are going to build on that big result against United and bring some confidence into this match here. Brighton are also without some important players with the likes of João Pedro and Matoma set to miss this clash through injury. Either side is also missing a player through suspension, with both Palhinha and Gilmour serving their respective suspensions this match. It should be a very entertaining clash, but I do see Fulham claiming all 3 points, but it really could go either way in this match. I'm not really certain either team have the upper hand really. I think Fulham are be riding on that confidence over the win against United, and that should see them over the line, but Brighton could easily win this as well, I think. It's not as clear cut as the other ones this week. And finally, Luton Town versus Aston Villa. Luton Town hosts Aston Villa at Kenilworth Road as they look to make a return to winning ways and get some much needed points on the board. Luton are coming off the back of a loss to Liverpool, a match in which they actually went ahead at Anfield, which is very impressive, and this takes Luton's form to 1 win and a draw from their last 5. Aston Villa have been doing better though, as they come off the back of a win against Nottingham Forest, which takes their form to 3 wins from their last 5 and keeps them firmly in the top 4, 5 points ahead of 5th place Spurs, but 6 points behind 3rd place Arsenal. There are worse positions to be in, let's be real. I'm going to say 3-2 to Villa. I do see Villa taking all 3 points back to Birmingham. Kenilworth Road has been the scene for many brilliant matches against the top 4 sides this season, and I imagine we'll see something very similar here. Villa are a brilliant attacking side, and I imagine we'll see that in full effect here as well. They've scored 56 goals so far this season, with Ollie Watkins being in some brilliant form on 24 goals and assists so far in the league. Both teams are suffering from their fair share of injuries, but each side have shown that they can perform without these players. Luton are without their top scorer in Adebayo, but Carlton Morris is available, and as their second top scorer, that should be much of an issue for the Hatters. I expect we'll see another very entertaining match at the Kenny. However, I do see Villa claiming all 3 points and taking them back to Birmingham. And then move on to the Sunday fixtures and Burnley versus Bournemouth. Burnley host Bournemouth at Turf Moor as they look to continue their desperate quest for as many points as they can get their hands on. The Clarets are still wallowing in the relegation zone as they come off the back of another loss, this time to Crystal Palace, in which they went down to 10 men. This takes their form to 1 draw from their last 5, which is really not great form if looking to survive in the Premier League. Bournemouth have been enjoying a better season than their opponents, and some slightly better form as well. The Cherries are coming off the back of a loss as they failed to beat Manchester City in what was quite a close match, to be fair. This takes their form to 3 draws from their last 5. Better form, but still not brilliant. I'm going to say 1-0 to Bournemouth. I see Bournemouth taking all 3 points to the South Coast. It's not looking good for the Clarets as I can't really see where their next points are coming from. Admittedly, that's not been helped by their growing injury list, but even before that, Burnley have really struggled as they return to the Premier League. Both teams have suffered from injuries, to be fair, with Bournemouth's star striker possibly missing out through knee injury. It remains to be seen if Solanke will play or not. I believe they're going to decide on the day, but personally, I can't see it happening. Either way though, Bournemouth do have attacking talent who could fill in for him, not replace him because he's been in some insane form at the moment, but could do a job filling in for him. Without their star man though, I can't see many goals being scored by either side, but I am backing Bournemouth to grab their first league win since Boxing Day, and a very important 3 points for them. And then we move on to Manchester City versus Manchester United. Yes, we round off our Sunday action with a Manchester derby as Man City host Man United at the Etihad. Manchester City comes back with a win against Bournemouth, and that result against the Cherries takes their form to 4 wins and a draw from their last 5. It keeps their title chance alive as they're just a point off league leaders Liverpool. Man United, on the other hand, comes back with a loss to Fulham in their own backyard, which is quite embarrassing. This takes their form to 4 wins from their last 5, which was a brilliant run of form to be fair, and they were looking to secure another season of European football. The Cottagers dented those hopes, but they're still alive. The Manchester derby has been quite entertaining recently, and I suspect this one will be the same. I'm going to say 4-1 to City. I am backing Manchester City to win this derby. United will be ruining the time this derby has come around as they suffer from quite a few injuries at the moment, with a large swath of their important players set to miss out through injury. Consequently, this has made their squad look quite flat, which is seen in their ultimately successful FA Cup clash against Nottingham Forest. They looked very flat, didn't provide much in the way of attack, but ultimately got the job done. Man City, on the other hand, are only experiencing 2 injuries at the moment, and if we're going to talk about FA Cup matches, demolished Luton 6-2, with Haaland scoring 5 goals. So yeah, it's really not looking good for Manchester United. But yeah, City only experiencing 2 injuries at the moment, with Grealish and Gvardiol set to miss out. So, not massive absentees. I mean, I like Grealish, but wasn't really tearing up trees at City, was he? I can't see Man United causing too much trouble for their same City rivals. I'm sure they'll probably grab a goal, but in their current state, it should be another win for City and another league double for the citizens. And finally, the Monday fixture of Sheffield United versus Arsenal. We end the week on some Monday night football as Sheffield United host Arsenal at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United are not in a good place at the moment as they find themselves rooted to the bottom of the league and they come off the back of a loss to Wolves in the West Midlands. This takes the Blades' form to 1 win in their last 5, which is not great for a side trying to escape the relegation zone, especially when you're 11 points from safety. Arsenal have been having a better time of things than their opponents though, as they're coming off the back of a big win over Newcastle United. This takes the Gunners' form to 5 wins from 5 and keeps them in the title race, only 2 points off Liverpool. It's not looking great for Sheffield United, let's be real. I'm going to say 5-0 to Arsenal. I can see Arsenal taking all 3 points back to London. Sheffield United haven't really shown much this season, and I don't see them having anything that could trouble Arsenal whatsoever. The Blades are suffering from quite a few injuries at the moment, with both Archer and Brereton Diaz sidelined, two of their better attacking talents, shall we say. This further impacts their attacking potential, which wasn't great to begin with. The Gunners have scored the second most goals this season, and they're going against the team that have conceded the most, so they're very likely to add to that tally in this match. It should be another 3 points for Arsenal, and will keep them very competitive in the title race, and will actually be the same result they got in the reserves fixture. They scored 5-0 at the Emirates, and I think they're going to score 5 at Bramall Lane as well. Someone pray for Sheffield United, because their goal difference is going to look horrendous come end of the season, and it's just going to be another high scoring game for Arsenal, to be honest. They've been on fire recently, you know, they've been scoring like 5, 6, 4 goals a game. Like, what's gone into them? But whatever it is, it's going to hurt Sheffield United as well. But yeah, those have been my Premier League predictions for Game Week 27. If you have any of your own, please leave them down in the comments down below. I do enjoy reading them. Again, I do apologise if I coughed at all in this video. It's a very, very annoying cough. It just comes when you don't want it to. So I do apologise for that. I've been trying to keep my throat as lubricated as possible. But yeah, I've been O2GT. Hope you have enjoyed. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.